Welcome to the breakdown where we break down all the messed up movies. And you guys voted for Bully, and here it is. Gay goth boy. Higarashi's up next, guys. Bully is based on a real thing. It's a true story of manipulation, betrayal, and a crime no one saw coming. I've talked about Bully before, but copyright said no. Directed by Larry Clark, this movie shows the death of Bobby Kent, whose horrible history with his best friend Marty Puccio led to Marty doing the unthinkable. You can find this movie on Tubi right now and an episode of Forensic Files talking about this case in the description. I'm gonna recap the film, talk about how sad it really is, and rate it on the disturbance meter. You want to see what happens, including all the messed up parts? Stay tuned for the breakdown. Cue the go on. This is Marty Puccio, and these two ladies are Lisa and Allie, who meet the nervous Marty and his mean friend, Bobby Kent. The ladies like Marty more than Bobby, who insults everyone and forces Marty to buy alcohol for him. Lisa later lets her mom know about her new boyfriend, Marty, who is really living it up with Bobby at a club. Bobby makes Marty get on stage and dance for $100, but he isn't too mad at it. He makes Marty do everything. He's too afraid to fight back. When he avoids a collision, Bobby punches him. This scene shows just how powerless and lonely Bobby would be if Marty would stand up to him more. If he just had Happy Gilmore hands, this loser wouldn't even be a problem. But real life Bobby Kent was more physically intimidating. Film Bobby Kent shows just how much emotional pain can be just as hurtful. They pick up Lisa to hang out, but Bobby beats his friend and essays Lisa while Marty is knocked out. Marty begs his parents to move away, but clearly they aren't much of a help in general. Soon, Lisa learns she's pregnant, but it could be Marty's or Bobby's. Guess what Marty says?
You're gonna get the goddamn money, you're getting it fucking fixed, do you hear me?
So you can put your hands on her, but not Bobby. Not a good look. I wish you directed some of that heat towards Bobby. And speaking of Bobby, the film floats around that he might be in the closet, hanging out at clubs, showing friends adult videos he created of random men, plus the weird dynamic here. But Lisa, she despairs knowing she's pregnant with possibly Bobby's kid, so she calls up her friend Allie to get her to hook up with Bobby to keep him distracted. He's distracted, all right, with a restricted, boring life and an annoying father who insults all his friends. It's clear Bobby has low self-esteem, and he hurts everyone around him to gain some control over his life. Anyway, Allie hooks up with Bobby, who's a lot more kind than before, but that's just a facade. Bobby and Allie mess around, but he forces her to watch male-on-male videos and essays her. She leaves horrified, running into Bobby's dad, who tells him to stop hanging with Marty and prepare for the future. This film shows a glimpse of that future. Marty is a great surfer and is complimented by this brat, a rare moment of positivity that shows the potential Marty could have if he breaks away from this toxic influence. And I'm not just talking about Bobby. Lisa asks why he lets Bobby hurt him. He cries, talking about how Bobby has always been like this. Hearing his pain touches my heart, but then they come up with a horrible idea: kill Bobby. Lisa even tells Allie about it on the phone, who joins the plan and recruits her boy toy Donnie and her friend from rehab, Heather. The perfect hit squad over here. My little sisters could plan a better crime. They plan the death of Bobby like it's a surprise party rather than a capital crime that could ruin all of their lives. The plan, if you could call it that, is to lead Bobby out to the Everglades and shoot him while he messes around with Allie, but ends up being too scared to do it. So Allie calls Derek here, a professional hitman. You're not even a villain of the week, played by Leo Fitzpatrick, who played as Telly in Kids. Now that was a villain of the week. Lisa calls her own Derek for his help. The funny thing about Marty is Bro actually kind of looked like a live action Jimmy Hopkins from the game Bully. He really just needed to have hands like Jimmy and this clown wouldn't even be a problem. There is a scene of a lady flirting with Marty. Bobby scares her away, showing his jealousy and his need to control Marty. Despite their -2 IQ plan, you can't help but care about what led them to this point. The histories of neglect that led them all to think this was a good idea. Tonight is the night where Bobby will die. They ride on by and pick him up, nervous but not nearly enough. Yet Bobby's horrible attitude towards everybody emboldens them all. They reach the Everglades all alone with their victim. Heather says the signal and Donnie runs and attacks Bobby. Hearing Bobby scream for his best friend, who also gets him in the stomach, made me speechless. Bobby falls to the ground where Marty stares at him and inflicts another wound. And then they inflict the final blow with a bat. I've watched so many disturbing movies, but this scene, despite not being too bloody, it made me feel the violence, the hatred involved, the fear and malice they all experience flowing through their veins, realizing this is a mistake that'll ruin their lives. And so they leave the body and imagine if they did the right thing. Marty realizes he forgot the sheath to his knife. That's just the cherry on top. Y'all are all doomed. They ride back to the scene of the crime, collect the sheath, and vomit, finding the remains. Lovely how you all regret it now. Not even Saul Goodman could save them. Bobby's dad notices his son didn't come home. In real life, this was after Marty left a voice message asking if Bobby came home. Derek even becomes Captain Yap and tells his friend the entire crime. Even Lisa tells her friend what they did. It even asks her friend for a ride to move the body. Girl, you are a mess. The police don't even have to investigate, you idiots. Marty gives his earring to his little brother, a brotherly goodbye knowing his time is limited. There is a sound of dread, all while the police arrest Marty. I can't imagine the shame and embarrassment. Months pass while they are in custody, and these idiots bicker the rest of their lives away while their families watch in shock. Heather Swallers, 7 years in jail. She's free now. Derek Desvirco, 11 years, but served 6, now free. Allie Willis, 40 years, later reduced to 17, but served 6 years, now free. Donnie Simonek, life in prison for someone he barely knew. Derek Kaufman, life in prison just so he could impress some idiot teenagers. Lisa Connolly, life in prison, but is released after 11 years. She's completely moved on from this crime. And Marty Puccio was given the death sentence, but later reduced to life in prison. As the credits roll, you're left feeling empty. All that cruelty and manipulation led to one horrible mistake, which led to the bullied having to live the rest of his life behind bars. I imagine most don't miss Bobby Kent, but it's clear the iron grip he had on Marty led from him being a passive victim to an active participant. Peer pressure, the bystander effect, no good adult guidance, and more led to the worst mistake you could make. This movie placed more importance on the emotional harm Bobby did. The actor looks a bit different than the real guy, who was quite the bodybuilder. I really suggest watching the Forensic Files episode, link in the description. It gives so much background info on Bobby Kent and Marty Puccio, even how Marty would help Bobby hurt others, and facts about the case that the movie didn't talk about. That episode left me feeling a little less sympathetic for these teens. But while Bully is a story of darkness, it's also a brutal reminder of the importance of choosing who we allow into our lives. Toxic friendships can trap us, but real strength comes from walking away, from valuing ourselves enough to set boundaries, even when it's hard. And that's something I'm learning to do too, and we're gonna get there together. It's not just Bobby, it's this whole group of friends. They all thought this was a good goal to accomplish. If there's one message we can take away, it's that we are never truly powerless. We always have the choice to seek kindness, to stand up for ourselves, and to surround ourselves with people who help us grow, not who drag us down. Marty thought he was trapped, and now he really is for the rest of his life. And I wasn't even born yet when this stuff happened. I give this film a rank a little past disturbing. It's just sad to see young people ruin their whole lives. Most disturbing moment is the death of Bobby, but the ending showing their sentences were disturbing too. Bobby's demise was brutal and there was barely any blood. I felt the intense melting pot of emotions that led up to this horrible act. My most enjoyed moment in Bully, it has to be the cast. They didn't do too bad. I mean, every interaction feels like a ticking time bomb. I felt the tension from Bobby towards Marty. If you like this video, you would like my last video on Liverleaf, which has a similar premise. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more Spooky Rice. And thanks for watching. Spooky out.